Hey guys, Steve and Andrew from AftermathReviews.com reviewing the 3DS by Nintendo.
So this is the latest handheld from Nintendo, and it's the 3DS, so it's actually 3D. It kind of looks like a DS. I actually have
hold it a little higher than that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. It's got a little stylus on the back here. There's this little kind of up and down switch here that kind of
switches between 2D and 3D.
Yeah, you got your SD card thing slot on the side, and the camera on the front for taking pictures of yourself or whatever. And then there's actually two cameras on the back that apparently, I've read, you can't really tell by looking at it, but they point in to get some of the augmented reality stuff going. So.
Alright, so I'm literally going to go through the menu. There's 3D movies, so you can watch 3D movies, you can take 3D photos. I mean, the screen, it's cool in 3D. I'm enjoying just looking at it.
Yeah, I call it neat for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool feature. They have the Mii's, which is like the Wii version.
Yeah, basically the exact same. I created my character.
Yeah, it's like the little avatar of your guy.
Yeah.
The R games, which is that augmented reality, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's the health and safety information.
Yeah, always important.
Very important. The download play, which is when you're going 3DS to 3DS.
Oh, right.
That was actually a cool aspect too. System settings.
Always good.
Best
as well.
part.
Yep.
Activity log, which is just telling you like what you've done on it. It kind of keeps a log of the games you've played.
And I think there's, I don't know if it was under there or not, I can't remember, but there's actually a pedometer in it too. So if you keep it like in sleep mode when you're walking around or whatever, it tracks all your steps.
Oh.
Kind of random, but
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. There's Face Raiders, which comes on it, which is like a little mini game type thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the Wii Plaza, which is, you know what, I find that stupid, the Mii Plaza, but the Wii had it too, and it's just like your stupid avatars walking around in circles, as if I want to watch
The only thing though, I forget what it's called again, which is awesome, but this is a little bit different, right, because like when you're going around, there's that feature that if you're like by other 3DSs, and like your characters interact and you unlock things and stuff. A little bit different, so it's
the wireless,
neat, right?
like 3DS. To 3DS.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing that I was making fun of before, the Plaza, it's actually for Street Pass.
Yeah, Street Pass, and that's what I was talking about. When you can actually, instead of turning off the 3DS, you can put it into like sleep mode essentially. So like when you're on the bus and stuff, your Mii character will interact with other Mii characters. And there's a little light like on the front or something that notifies you when your character's interacting and stuff. If you want to do that, I don't know. It just seemed like an extra cool added bonus that if you are commuting with it on the bus or whatever, it's kind of neat. And then the other thing that was super cool was the AR games. It was honestly like the 4 games that we played, this was sort of the smallest thing but the coolest thing, I thought, right? So you have these little cards that they give with you, and you actually put that down on a table or on whatever, right? And it uses the 3D cameras to essentially sense this. And then you have like a whole 3D game that revolves around the environment you're in. Yeah, so like, you know, I put it on a table and it looks like my table like opened up into a cavern and like a freaking dragon comes up and stuff,
like blasting at it. And the more you move the actual 3DS around the environment,
super cool.
That was really good.
And you can put like your hand, and your hand actually goes like behind the dragon and stuff.
Where things are. Yeah, it has like depth perception, which is really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we reviewed it with 4 games. They weren't the best games that we got to review with, so it kind of, I don't know, it didn't make our experience that great with it. I feel like it's definitely capable of more than we experienced.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, the first game up was Pilotwings Resort. So that was just kind of like the Nintendo version of like showing you how the 3D works almost. That's what it felt like. It was more of just a 3D example game.
Demo almost.
Yeah. So you use the different aircrafts and you fly around an island.
Yeah, and I was all excited. There was a jetpack mode. I was like, this is gonna be awesome, right? And it was basically the same thing. It's different graphic almost.
Yeah, it's not something you can just devote a whole bunch of time to. It's more just something you play around with and you're done with.
Yeah.
The next game, which is actually more of an actual game, which is Asphalt by Ubisoft. It's Asphalt 3D, sorry. And it's a racing game. Kind of reminded me of like, did you ever play Cruis'n USA?
Yeah, especially in the arcade.
Yeah, it reminded me of like Cruis'n USA. So it was a 3D cruising. That's basically what I experienced.
Yeah.
Easily the most frustrating of the bunch was the PES 2010, which is the Pro Evolution Soccer. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that game is so hard.
I could not get the ball.
It's-
I don't know if I just suck at soccer, but I was getting so frustrated.
It's so hard. I even put it down to like easy, and I still like I'd get the ball and it'd get taken away from
Yeah.
me. And last up was Steel Diver, which is like a submarine game that you have to use a stylus for to control your depth and your speed and shooting the missiles. Again, it reminded me of like an internet game almost.
All right, so overall, 3DS, like Andrew was saying, we didn't really have the greatest games. I'm not a hardcore gamer. I had a Game Boy Advance actually, and an original Game Boy.
Wow.
Never had the 3DS or the DS, but it was just kind of neat. That's what I kind of found. Like, it was cool, the 3D. You know, those AR games were kind of neat.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of middle of the road. Having said that, though, I think it's got potential for these other games.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 70, just because I know it's gonna get better.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump right on saying I'm also giving it a 70, but it's pretty much the same points. I mean, it was fun to play around with. I see serious potential with it. I can understand why people enjoy it. I just think for the games we played, we didn't get to experience too much, especially for the demographic we are. Like, I didn't have that much fun with it. This Resident Evil game that's coming out, I'm sure I would get into that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, a 70 on the actual 3DS itself, but I'm sure, depending on the games that come out, if we review those, they'll probably have a higher
probably
score.
slowly bump up once we see better games.
I agree,
sure.
yeah.